Hi, welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Monday, April 11th. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church in Maplewood, New Jersey. And Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation for you to pause in your day for just a few minutes and to just breathe and to center yourself in God who made you and loves you and calls you by name. Each Take a Break, Take a Breath time, I talk about a different passage of Scripture and I read through a book of the Bible from one end to the other in order. And we've been reading through the Gospel of Luke, and today we're on Luke 9:43 to 48. I'm going to make a few comments about that reading, then have some relaxation time, and then invite you to settle into the story and hear that story from the perspective of one of the characters in the story, and you'll get to choose who that is. And then spend some time in prayer, meeting Jesus. So our reading for today follows on Jesus casting out a demon that none of his disciples were able to cast out, and everyone's kind of amazed. But he turns while they're still in that amazement and says to his disciples, listen hard to this. The Son of Man is going to be, he's going to be betrayed into human hands. Now they don't get it. And what do we do when we don't get something? Well, sometimes we start to argue about it or argue about something else in frustration. That's what happens to them. And they argue about who's the greatest. And he uses a child or employs a child to make the point about who is the greatest. So if you haven't already done so, I invite you to go to a quiet place in your house or where you are. And if the room has a door, close the door. Settle into a chair and relax into that chair. Feel the support of the floor under your feet. Feel the support of the seat of that chair on your seat. Feel the support of the back of that chair on your back. And feel the support of the arms of that chair, if it has arms, under your arms. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe in the breath of God. And as you breathe out all that separates you from God. As you breathe in the breath of life. And as you breathe out all that does not give you life. As you breathe in God's peace. And as you breathe out all of your worries and your fears and your anxieties and everything that disturbs your peace. Just for this little while, perhaps. Become aware that the Spirit of God is around you and in you. Allow that awareness to grow for you. Maybe use the image of settling into a warm bath to help. As the Spirit of God touches your feet as you step into that warm bath, your feet relax. And if you're like me, you probably smile when you step into that warm bath. And as you stoop down to sit in the warm bath, and the water comes up over your legs, and the Spirit of God touches your legs, all of the aches and pains of the day are washed away. And as you slide down, and the Spirit of God comes up over your stomach settles down from whatever has been going on in there. And as the Spirit of God comes up over your chest, your lungs have already been filled with God's Spirit breathing in and out. And now your heart rate slows and calms to a steady, resting pace. And as you become aware of the Spirit of God on your back, the burdens of the day float away, and the muscles in your back relax. And as you slide down so that your shoulders are covered and your arms are floating freely in the water, you're aware of the Spirit of God penetrating the muscles of your shoulders and your arms, and your hands open and let go of all the things that they have been clinging to this day. And as the water comes up to your chin, your neck relaxes and the tensions of the day unwind. And you take some of that nice warm water and you splash it up onto your face. And your brow relaxes. And your jaw relaxes. And you smile to yourself. You lean your head back and let the warmth of the water surround your head. And the Spirit of God enters into your mind. Your mind gets calm and at peace. And then allow yourself to go to a time and a place in Jesus' day. They're still at the base of the mountain. And Jesus turns to his disciples to teach them. Who are you? Are you the disciples? Or are you the crowd around the disciples? Jesus looks at them and he says, "Let these words sink into your ears. The Son of Man will be betrayed into human hands." But the disciples were perplexed. They didn't understand the meaning of this, and it was as if it was blocked somehow, and they just weren't getting it. But as we're wont to sometimes do when we don't get something, they were afraid to ask, and so they didn't. Instead, they started to argue with one another about who was the greatest. Jesus knew that's what they were doing. And so he took a child and he brought that child to his side. And he said, "Whoever welcomes this child welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me." The least among all of you is the greatest. Some story, huh? What does it say to you? Did you notice anything different from the perspective that you were listening to the story? What would you like to pray about? What would you like to ask Jesus? I wonder how the boy felt. Jesus comes to you and invites you to talk about all of this and to ask whatever you want and to tell him about the burdens of your day. I'll be quiet while the two of you talk. And then the time comes for the conversation to end, and if it hasn't been long enough for you, just hit pause. And the two of you say goodbye in whatever way is appropriate, and you allow that image to fade away. And you bring yourself back to the room where you are. And when you're ready, open your eyes. That's Take a Break, Take a Breath for Monday, April 11th. Our reading was Luke 9:43-48. That's Luke 9:43-48. If you want to talk or pray with me, or you have feedback for me, send it to rick@prospectchurch.org.